What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Back here with Gab and Maui. Say hi, guys.
Hello, hello. Yeah. May Pinoy na
Okay.
nag-NBA.
Okay, pansinin nyo, guys. Pansinin nyo. Nag-collared shirt kami ni Gab today. Si Maui naman, bagong gupit. Alam nyo bakit? Ha? Because today is July 14 and it will be known as Kai Soto Day. The day that Kai Soto first played for the NBA. But it will not be the last. So we're going to talk about that. Kai Soto playing his first game in the NBA Summer League against the Portland Trail Blazers. Kita nyo naman sa title. But before we go to that, quick news, quick update lang on UAAP news. We were talking about this team last week. The UST Growling Tigers, the biggest question mark, the biggest unknown in terms of like UAAP teams, announcing a bunch of news. I think the first one was officially SMC is supporting UST in the upcoming seasons. Al Francis Chua will be playing a crucial role as part of their sports program. And then, few days later, they announced a couple of big recruits. Ashon Andrews, we knew, moved from UP to UST. And the big one, I think, Kyle Paranada joining UST coming from UE. And we've known na aalis si Paranada, but we didn't know what team. So, any thoughts, reactions on the news coming out of UST? Gab.
The first thing is we called it. Diba? We kind of called it yung Kyle Paranada. One of our choices was UST and probably Adamson to replace Jerome Lastimosa there. Uh, the second thing I wanted, the Al Francis Chua news and SMC in general, we sort of knew about this a few months ago. They were kind of thinking about it. They expressed their support, but now they're official with Al Francis Chua being assistant to the rector for I don't know, sports development, whatever that is. So this means that they're getting a lot more money and support, whatever support that means. But you can rest assured that UST will get more recruits, moving forward. They're gonna probably get a lot more high schoolers or yung Phil foreigners to come play for them, and we're seeing it now, right? With the recruitment of A- Ashwin Andrews, Kyle Paranada, and who's the other one, Sammy, that you mentioned? Jeremy Robinson. Yeah.
Jeremy Robinson, yes.
So Jeremy Robinson. And this just means that they're going to be competitive for the next couple of seasons. And will probably lead to uh, Nick Caballero possibly staying for more years in UST. No, we talked about it at the end of season 85. Is Nick Caballero gonna stay? Will he continue to want to keep losing? He was visibly frustrated in the last few games of UST last season. So, yeah, I think they're gonna build around Nick. They're gonna surround him with talent. I talked about their lack of a good point guard. Well, Kyle Paranada addresses that in season 87. So I'm happy for UST. I mean, it's been dark ages since Pidol left the program, and for for us basketball nuts, junkies, it's the return of Team Calvo. I love seeing that Team Calvo is
Yeah.
confirmed to be back.
Confirmed.
Team Calvo confirmed to be back. There's a picture. There's evidence. Team Calvo is finally back. So I'm happy that UST is gonna be competitive again. Uh, Hopefully, and in terms of basketball, I don't want to judge them yet. I have not seen them play. I don't know how they're gonna play. I don't know what rotation they're gonna run. But they look to have more talent this year, and we'll see. We'll see. I can't judge them yet, yung basketball wise.
I don't think anybody can judge UST kasi we haven't seen anything. We haven't seen UST play a single game. So medyo mahirap. One comment lang on Team Kalbo. I think yung FSA nila hindi pa nag-shiv ng head. So wala.
Then
Hindi
he's
yun pasok.
definitely not making the
He's
team.
not making the team. If you don't shave your head, you're not making the team. Kidding aside, Maui, any thoughts on the recent updates from UST?
I think it's a welcome sight, first and foremost, na UST is rounding into form. It's a scary sight that SMC's has solidified yung and made it official that they will be sponsoring per se or running the UST basketball program. I think, if I'm not mistaken, pati yung volleyball program nila, they will also handle, if I'm correct. But yeah, it's a welcome sight. If you watch UAP basketball, UST has always been a mainstay. They've always been one of the top teams, much like FEU, very consistent sila na top team. And it's very sad to see them as a bottom dweller team the past few seasons, except for the season na nandun si Coach Aldin. After all the turmoil, they're finally gonna be able to run their program properly again. And it's a welcome sight. Again, even if Ateneo, we're Ateneans, we might be biased at some times, but again, first and foremost, we're basketball crazy fans. When we get competitive games, we're more happy. So when we see one more team like UST get a solid backing, we're very happy. And again, I have to repeat this. We've been saying this all throughout the off season. It's been one hell of a crazy ride. This off season has been one of the most craziest off season, I think, since I started the UAAP. If you look at the news, if you look at UST, there have been so many players going in and out the lineups. Sabi nga ni Gab, we really can't judge them right now because we haven't seen them play. But actually, we don't even know what their lineup would look like because a lot of players have been going in and out of the lineup. So it's a welcome sight. We're praying for more games. I hope we see UST play some of the tournaments if there are still off-season tournaments. Some of the teams like Ateneo and UP have started playing tournaments abroad, and hopefully we get some broadcast of these games. But yeah, as opposed to UST, I'm very happy to see it happening. And USC has really been recruiting a lot of wing players. If you know Pido Orencho, he loves these long wing players, and I'm very excited to see what will happen in the coming UAP season.
Okay, good points by Maui. I guess just to recap this discussion about UST, we've always talked about this, no? When you're creating a competitive team, there are a few key elements that you need to look for. Number one is culture. And that culture usually is something that's established by the coach. And kita naman natin, pagpasok ni Pido, nagkaroon na ng Team Kalbo, marami nang nare-recruit na players. I think they're establishing the culture there in UST. The second one that we always mention or talk about when you're establishing a contender in the UAAP is funding or backing. It's always important to get some solid support or funding from, let's say, a big sponsor. Ateneo has MVP. UP has the Robina Pes, the Robinsons, diba? And sina Gov. Lasal has Coangco and ICTSI, the Razons. So I think SMC coming in to support UST is really going to help the program significantly. That's two key elements of a good competitive team, and UST already has that. So I think it's something, just as Maui said, I think it's something to look forward to. Watching UST become competitive again. Okay. let's end the conversation there kasi that's not why we are here. We're here to talk about the highlight of the day, of the month. What every Filipino basketball fan has been waiting for the past few days or the past 7 days. Kai Sotto finally playing for the Orlando Magic in NBA Summer League. He played
Yeah!
sparingly, 13 minutes. Pero ano sa tingin mo, Gab? Anong reaction mo sa performance ni Kai? Doon muna tayo, focus muna tayo sa performance ni Kai.
Sige, just on the performance itself, I mean, I think he made a decent impression. Now, is he on the same level as Victor Wembanyama? No, he's not.
Definitely not.
Mga
Bakit mo nasabi
kababayan,
yun?
chill. Calm your tits! Hindi siya kasi galing ni Victor Wembanyama. Oh my God, yung mga memes saying that his per minute numbers are better than Victor Wembanyama's debut. Oh my goodness, guys, come on, chill. I honestly think that at first he was tentative. There were he didn't know where he was gonna be defense. I think his first play he was called for defensive 3 seconds.
3
So,
seconds.
Yeah, so I think he was tentative, of course. And I think he's mentioned it in his post-game interview that his first shot block was actually calmed his nerves, no? So he was able to settle down a bit more, was able to get into the flow on offense. He didn't really force anything. There were a lot of times where he got it in the top of the key, wide open, and all of the Pinoy fans in attendance are like, shoot it! We're cheering for him to shoot it. And he did not shoot it. So I like that he was a bit more composed than I thought he would be. But yeah, my impression is that yeah, I'm sorry, but I still do not think that he is NBA material. He is slow.
Hater!
He's very.
Hater!
No,
Joke lang.
I love Kai
Joke
Soto. I mean,
lang.
I think he's a good player, but he's not for the NBA. There was a lot of there's some of our subscribers, some who regularly comment on our videos in our past videos, telling us that maybe it's unfair to him that we compare him to star recruits, to star players, star rookies yung coming to the NBA. And yeah, that's true. Maybe he's more of a role player. But even as a role player, what does he do well? Diba? Because if you're gonna be a role player, you have to do something well. He doesn't, for me, he doesn't have a certain scale that pops out. You know, well, he's tall. He's 7'2". Yeah, but there are
7'3".
other 7 foot, yung 7'2", 7'3" players in the NBA. He's 7'3" and he's special here in Asia because there are so few of 7'3" players here in Asia. And in the Philippines, he's the only one. Diba? So yeah, it's special for him here in the Philippines. In the NBA, it's not. Diba? The 7'3", you can say what his skill is shot blocking, maybe, but you know, again, there are other 7 foot players who block shots better and protect the rim better. He's not an outstanding rebounder, and that's for me a point for improvement for Kai, you know. And it's been my complaint of him ever since he played in Gilas in the senior team in Gilas, and even when he was in Australia and in Japan. He just doesn't have a motor. No, I think you guys would agree. No, there are times I think he could get after it more. I hate to compare him to a fellow lanky 7-footer, but if you guys watch Chet Holmgren in this summer league, he's wired differently than Kai Soto. No, you know, I hate to make the comparison. He's obviously on a different level than Kai. Chet is obviously a top 3 pick. I think he went second last year. So I hate to compare him there, but if you just look at how they play, Chet Holmgren is a nasty motherfucker. I mean, diba?
He's got
He
that
gets
dog in
after.
him.
Yeah. He gets after you. If you watch him in summer league, uh, even though he's away from the play, he will do everything to get the rebound, to make sure he's in the play. You're not getting a shot near the basket when he's on the floor. Even when he's guarding the perimeter, he will make sure you won't get to the rim. He will lock you up. Yung on offense, he's a mean guy. He will box out. I mean, just very different attitude when he's on the floor. And that's kind of what I expected from Kai. Maybe come out with a dog mentality, and wala activity. Even when his box outs a while ago were lazy, I thought he could have boxed out more aggressively. There are a lot of times he was beaten to the rim. Again, no, he's slow. And his strength, though, which I think maybe his most skill to me that popped out, is he has an outside shot and a mid-range shot. I think I could probably see him doing that for a short run if ever an NBA team gets him. But that's it, no? Otherwise, I just don't see it in an NBA roster unless you're gonna go with what the Orlando Magic did, was just get him on their summer league team so that all the Filipino basketball fans would share Orlando Magic content.
That's true.
Diba? I think that's the only reason to have him on your NBA roster. But in terms of upside, I just don't see it. So maybe Filipino basketball fans will be angry at me, but I'm just trying to be objective. I've been watching the NBA for a long time, even in the more recent years, and you have to provide value. He's not gonna be a star. I think Alex Caruso in his interview in JT Redick's podcast talked about this a lot. When you're in the summer league or in the G League, you have to realize that teams are not looking for a star. They're not looking for their top tier talent. They're gonna be looking for someone who can play a role. And to play a role, you have to have a certain skill. That's you have to be good at some certain things. And I don't think Kai Sotto has those certain things. Maui.
Yet. Maui.
Yeah. Yes, he's still pretty young. He's still pretty young. Yes.
Yeah.
Good point, Sam.
Yeah, I think I'm very happy to see Kai Sotto finally get minutes and play sa Summer League. But this is not the first time a Filipino-born player has gotten minutes in the Summer League. If you remember a few years back, si Bobby Ray Parks had a similar stint, I think, with Dallas. And again, it's just one game for Kai Sotto. But if you compare their whole stint, I think Bobby Ray Parks made a better mark than Kai Sotto just because he was getting consistent minutes. I think he played most of the games. And I think we have to hold our horses for Kai Sotto. It's sad to see he's already 21 years old. This was something that we should have seen nung G League Ignite days pa. I'm really baffled that the reason why they did not pursue the G League Ignite route. He could have stayed in G League Ignite for 1 or 2 years and gotten this type of experience. And this
I think that was the game breaker for him, no, Maui. Tama ka.
Yes.
Sobrang game breaker yan. He should have stayed.
I think that was the biggest game breaker. Regardless if he was a bench warmer during that time, if he was a bench warmer during his stint sa G League, that would have been still a better experience than him going back here and shocking everyone and suddenly playing for, I think, FIBA Asia or something. But those 2 years of development with an NBA program would have been big. Had he stayed with NBA G League, he probably would have played in the G League for 2 years. And then now he would have his chance to... There are some players who play in the G League a couple of years. An example is Scoot Henderson, who went second pick. I think it's a bad example because he went third pick this year. But it's an example of a player who plays in the G League multiple years and then goes to the NBA draft route. And I think they blew it. They really blew it when Kai Sotto decided not to play with the G League Ignite. But I think I mentioned this to you guys off cam kanina. I hope Kai Sotto is as motivated as ever to be better. Ang main concern ko kasi sa kanya right now is baka mas lalo siyang devastate that he wasn't getting minutes. And then this is the peak Kai Sotto we see. There are some big men, there are some players who enter the NBA at 25 after they're undrafted. So there's still hope, but we can't be as optimistic as we were probably 4 or 5 years ago when he was one of the top prospects in I think NBA, junior NBA, or even Basketball Without Borders. It's a different question. It's a different ball game right now. He's 21 years, 20 or 21 years old already. In NBA years, you have to be starting to become a star at that
That's
age.
old already.
Luka is
21 as a rookie.
That's old. Luka was doing crazy things at 21. LeBron was doing crazy things at 21. Not a lot of players, not a lot of rookies at 21 do good. This is why NBA teams put a premium on players that enter the draft at a very early age. But yeah, I'm hoping he gets another opportunity. Hopefully, yung opportunities now with the NBA Summer League blossoms into something else. So probably the Euro League or back to Australia or something to jumpstart him. I think him in Japan is not the best scenario for him. Players such as the Ravenas and Tamayo and even Dwight Ramos are in Japan. So he has to aim higher. Hopefully he gets back to Australia and the EuroLeague, and we'll see what happens within the next 4 to 5 years. But I think that's his window, the next 3 to 4 years. And hopefully we see more Kai Sotto. They have one more game, the consolation round game. Hopefully he gets more minutes para sumaya mga Pinoy. Pero hopefully mga Pinoy naman, mga Pinoy just hold your horses. Relax.
Yeah, chill
this
out.
Is not Chet,
chill
this
out.
Is not Wemby. This is Kai Sotto from Asia. It's not like he's one of the top prospects. He just went undrafted 2 straight years, I think. So hopefully we get a better showing from Kai.
Okay. Now, we talked about Kai's performance. Pero I think the performance is only half the story. I think the other half of the story is really everything that was happening around this performance before, during, and after. We had, sabi mo Gab, diba? Syempre, Kai does not compare to, people were comparing him to Wemby, diba?
Wemby and Chet, that's
and
crazy.
Chet, tama.
The past 2 years,
Not
really.
that player.
People were sharing, na-mention mo na, we're sharing like these memes or itong mga puro mga fake news. KD supposedly saying Kai is the most underrated. Shout out to Alba, I think Ryan Alba, I think start pa lang nung Summer League. What was his name? Yung may magandang dunk, si Kai on Wemby. Kai Jones. Tapos nag-tweet agad si Ryan Alba, Kai with the dunk over Wemby. Tapos parang lahat ng tao, si Kai nag-dunk over Wemby. Ito, si Ryan Alba, troll machine to eh.
He's just trolling. He's just
Alba.
trolling.
Love that guy. Ikaw, Gab, like, okay, it's not the same. Obviously, it's not the same as Wemby. But the local hype around Kai Sotto, grabe talaga yung hype ng mga Pilipino. Overly, alam mo na, Filipino baiting din eh. Pinoy baiting din tong Orlando Magic. Anything
Hype and hate around Kai Sotto.
To Jokic,
Porzingis din.
to Chet, to Wemby, it's crazy.
So, anything that you saw na was funny or like worth highlighting, like surrounding this hype, the hate, the angry tweets, the angry reacts, anything you want to say?
To me, it was just entertaining. I love how
it was so funny.
It was so funny. I love how mga Filipinos are mga kababayan natin. They just overreact to anything basketball. I saw a lot of Orlando, the Orlando Magic pages were flooded with hate that they benched Kai Sotto. Like every post, angry reacts all around, and they're just commenting to no end. It's just all the hate for the Orlando Magic. They were calling for a boycott of Orlando Magic games. Just burn all the jersey of Orlando Magic players. I'm like, what? Just
May
because
article pa
of
si Kinito. May article pa si Kinito sa dyaryo about that. Orlando no
yeah, I'm
magic.
like,
No magic.
I mean, grabe. And of course, there was also some uh, anger around how one player just doesn't get playing time, and now the whole Philippines is going bonkers. But in other sports, some shit happens and they don't care. There's that whole other side of it. So you just entertaining, but yeah, Filipinos just love basketball. Of course, I watch other sports too, but I'm a basketball fan first. I've always loved basketball first. And again, mga kababayan, calm your tits. We
Hold
just
your
gotta be
horses.
objective. Yes, hold your horses. We just gotta be objective when it comes to Kai Soto. We can't go like he's the greatest player in the world. We can't go like he has absolute no chance. He's not that good. He's a good basketball player, but you know if you have to put yourself in the place of NBA scouts, NBA coaches, NBA managers, and see what Kai Soto can offer your player. Kung isa maglalaro kayo ng fantasy, or diba, if you're building out your roster, yung what can he bring to your team, diba? And again, as I said, I'm not sure he has a place right now in the NBA. Maybe sometime in the future. He's still young for our standards. In the NBA standards, he's not that young anymore. I mean, at 21, you're supposed to be a developed player already, mostly. But yeah, ako just entertaining to watch yung Filipinos overreact and the memes that come out of it. I love the memes, guys. Just so funny. The Wembanyama comparison it just made me drop my phone. I'm like, oh, this is nuts. Comparing him to Victor Wembanyama. What the hell, guys? Ayun lang. It's entertaining.
Favorite ko rin yung yung they were, I think it was New York na ba yun, the third game, they were chanting na, "We want Soto! We want Soto!" Yung nagcha-chant na sila na
Or,
palaruin
yeah,
si
and
Kai
ano ba,
Soto.
I think it's put in Kai.
Sorry,
Kai.
put in Kai or whatever. Hindi ko marinig, but I read that. Maui, Gab mentioned si Kai needs to work on a few skill sets to stand out. Anything that you think he needs to work on more in order to improve his chances of making it to the NBA or maybe making it to another, high tier professional league?
Yeah. Just a comment lang sa kanina, no. We describe Filipinos as basketball crazy. We did with the best and the worst basketball crazy nation here in the Philippines. But anyway, when it comes to Kai Soto, I think si Gab mentioned this. When you're a role player in the NBA, you're usually a specialist. Either you are a 3-and-D specialist, you are a solid rebounder, or a solid shot blocker. I think with Kai Soto, the problem is he's not that mobile. But I think yung length niya kasi at strength niya is something that stands out right now. I think he has to work on his rebounding, he has to work on his shot blocking. I think he has to focus on something. He has to focus on defense. If you're talking about role players, it really starts on the other end of the floor, which is defense. Role players get more minutes because they hustle for the ball. Role players get more minutes because they get rebounds, they get shot blocks, and they just bring a different type of energy to the game. And I think si Gab mentioned this, Chet is a different type of player, but you can see yung motor ni Chet. He blocks every shot. He wants to get every rebounds. And I think for Kai Soto to really excel and be able to get into the radar of NBA teams, he has to be great at something, and that should be shot blocking and rebounding. The thing is, Kai Soto has historically not been a great rebounder and has never been an above average shot blocker. But with his height, I think those are two of the things that he has to work on. If you watch NBA basketball right now, most of the big men are either pick and pop five or pick and roll dive to the basket dunkers. And I think for Kai Soto to really excel, he has to be better on the defensive end. And then he can showcase that he has his mid-range and three-point shot and possibly work on uh, playing in a pick and roll setting. But again, that all depends if Kai Soto can get the necessary mobility and motor that we want to see.
It's like you read my mind, no, Maui. I was thinking the same thing. If there's one thing he has to focus on, it's definitely the rebounding and the defense. Uh, Again, we've been comparing him to stars, and that's kind of unfair to him. He's not that. I do want to compare him to some other role players who find a lot of teams that that they always want to sign them. So someone like a Bismack Biombo, Bismack Biombo has no offensive game, but teams sign him over and over again because he's an excellent rebounder and defender. And with that height, I think Kai can make that. There are times talaga earlier in the game, man. I was just so disappointed. He wasn't boxing out anyone. Diba? I mean, a shot goes up, he turns around, he pretends to box out someone, there's no one behind him. Like, bro, find a man, put a body on him, and jump up and grab those rebounds. Uh, an NBA star, for example, Rudy Gobert, has no offensive game. That's a very limited offensively, but he's a star because he gets after it on defense. He's slow. I mean, Kai is slow. Rudy Gobert is slow. He's 7'2". But he gets after it on defense. He blocks all the shots around the rim and rebounds the heck out of the ball. So I hope whoever is training Kai or yung agent niya, his manager, tells him na, hey, you have to, yung tama si Maui focus on something. Focus on something that you can do well. Then maybe NBA teams will see the value of getting a 7'3" center with a shot, but can also defend and rebound the heck out of the ball. Honestly, in 13 minutes, he should have gotten more than 4 rebounds. I mean, he's 7'3". He's the only 7-foot guy there. He could gobble up rebounds in 13 minutes. So, for me, yung tama si Maui talaga. Make your mark in something.
Motor talaga.
Have a
motor, yung motor niya has to work on his motor.
Yes, tama. If you see him play talaga, he's obviously not the he doesn't get after it. He just doesn't get after it. I want to see him, be more energized, have a little more attitude. Anyway, I hope he plays in this last game. I hope he plays.
Anything you're looking forward to in the last game, Gab?
Just to see him hit the floor. It was a blowout earlier, so I think that's part of the reason why he played. So,
yeah.
I think,
pero Gab, nag-tweet si Homer, 'di ba? Na sabi niya na I think the night before na Kai was gonna get to play. Sinabihan na daw si Kai na he's going to play for Portland. So I think either alam nilang matatambakan sila ng Portland or whether win or lose, I think they decided they were going to play Kai Soto. So to be fair, they promised him.
So I think the only thing to look forward to is to cross our fingers. Hopefully, he sees more floor time, in the last game. And Kai, show some stuff. You don't have to always score. There's a lot of scorers in the NBA. Do something else. Specialize in something.
So Maui touched on this earlier. So, but I want to ask you this, Gab. I guess just to sort of end the show. After the summer league, tinanong si Alex for you. Actually, in one of the interviews, he sort of mentioned that he was going back home to the Philippines. But in another interview, hindi niya actually sinagot. He was like, "Oh, just want to focus on the next game. We'll see what happens after." What do you want Kai to do? What's the next step for Kai?
Uh, I'm on the same page with Maui. I think the World Cup is a big stage where he can showcase his talent. It's not in conflict with the NBA season, so I think he's he has to play there. I think there's a spot for him there. Again, in the Philippines, he's the only 7'3" guy. There's a spot for him there. Uh, but yeah, he has to show what he's got in the World Cup. And I think for Coach Chot, I think it would be stupid to leave him out of the lineup, given that he's the only 7'3" guy we have. Um, yeah, but hopefully he plays her. But I just want to see him uh, improve on a certain part of his game. And hopefully the World Cup would be that stage for him.
Okay, Gab. Before we end the show, anong advice mo sa mga Pinoy
Okay,
fans?
ako na lang. Ako na. Okay. Una, huwag kayong umasa. Again, we've spent 20 minutes plus on it. It is, for me, it's highly unlikely that he gets a roster spot. The only feasible reason that he will get a roster spot now at his point in his career is for NBA teams to get the money of Filipino fans. that's the only
Money. That's the only way.
that's the only
Take
reason
my
that
money.
an
Take my money.
Oh, to get more media coverage, to sell more Kai Soto jerseys, tickets, I don't know, a lot more people watching their game. That's the only reason that, and for me lang, hindi mo galit, for me lang, that an NBA team will put Kai Soto as one of their, I think the roster size now is 15, as one of their 15 guys. Uh, Maybe you could see like what happened to the Lakers a few years ago where they signed si Andre Ingram from their G League, their 30-year-old G Leaguer to, I think he played one game in the NBA. Maybe Kai could do something like that. Okay, so to end our season, we're gonna sign Kai Soto. Since we're tanking, we're signing Kai Soto. Maybe that's another reason that they can. But again, for the additional views, even though we're tanking, Filipinos are gonna watch us. Kai Soto is here, diba? Or something like that. Again, huwag kayo umasa na regular rotation, regular roster spot na kuha ni Kai Soto. I just don't see it. But yun, I think those are the possible ways. Tanking, let's sign Kai. We want more money, Filipinos. Let's sign Kai Soto.
Good point,
That's
good
it.
point. Maui.
Yeah. I think just to add lang, just find some final words about Kai Soto. I think all we can do right now is just to support. I think we've been crazy enough to show the support for Kai Soto. I think, sorry to say that we have to be patient and we have to trust the process. Joel Embiid, the Philadelphia 76ers always says this. It's about trusting the process. If Kai Soto trusts the process, I mean, who knows? Maybe in 4 years, maybe in 3 years, he makes a regular rotation. But if you're talking about him making the NBA right now, probably on a two-way contract, again, play for the G League team, and really just a show of support for Filipino fans. I don't think any NBA team would really sign Kai Soto right now, given the limited minutes he got in the summer league. Most of the players in the summer league, even those that contribute and get a lot of minutes, don't make the regular NBA rotation. Most of them get two-way contracts and play in the G League. So I guess it's crazy. Sorry to say, it was for me. It was really foreshadowed by the move of Orlando to wave ball. When they wave ball, that means that they really just sometimes look at players and try to see if they can see the potential ceiling of players. And the fact that Kai Soto did not even get meaningful minutes in the summer league is not a very good sign in my opinion. In my opinion, baka magalit mga tao eh. But I'm very happy for Kai and I hope he gets to play sa final game nila. And again, I said this kanina, I hope he uses this as a springboard, as a additional motivation to get better. I mean, it's not only you don't get prestige just because you get to the NBA. You can be the best Asian player. He can lead the Philippines to countless FIBA Asia championships. He can bring the Philippines back to the Olympics. He doesn't have to make the NBA to become a legend. It's sad as it seems. It may be some other route, and hopefully this type of experience that he's experiencing right now will be a springboard, not would be a detriment to his development. Kasi yun ang concern ko eh. Baka mawalan na ng gana si Kai after this and just accept reality and play out his days in the B League, and when he gets older enough, just play in the PBA. My dream for Kai is to play abroad his whole career. Get to the B League, get back to Australia, possibly the Euro League, and then potentially the NBA. Again, I mentioned this kanina naman, there are some players that make it to the NBA at 25, 26, 27. I think Ginobili made it to the NBA at 25, 26. Nikola Mirotic made it to the NBA at 25, I think. The MVP of the Euro League is gonna debut in the NBA this coming season for the Sacramento Kings.
Sasha Vezenkov.
And he's what, 29, I think, 29 years old. So there's
29.
still time for Kai. I think he has to focus on development more than trying to just make it in the NBA. Just keep on improving, keep on developing, try to master some part of the game like the defensive end, rebounding, shot blocking, and continuously improve. But yeah, hopefully this will be a springboard to Kai. Yun lang talaga ang hope ko. Kasi at least he got, even if it's not meaningful, at least he got the experience. He got to compete with players on a different level. He got to see players on a different level. He got to see how an NBA team, even if it's a summer league team, operates. Yun ang main experience. Which is why I was very disappointed dun sa G League Ignite stint niya before. I think that's for me.
Okay. Good points, Maui. Let's end it there. Let's end on the good note. Para lang hindi tayo atakihin ng mga diehard sports fans ng mga Pinoy.
Oh,
At the end of
breaking
the
news.
Day,
Breaking
Go.
news.
Breaking news.
Kai Soto is expected to show up for Gilas practice on July 18. So,
okay, so confirmed.
He's playing in the World Cup.
He's playing in the World Cup. So
Big step.
Let's end it there. Kai Soto playing for the world for Team Philippines in the World Cup. Very very happy that he was able to play for in the Orlando Magic today. And as Filipino basketball fans, as Boleros, we're here to support Kai Soto in wherever he goes, no? And we're really hoping, as what Maui said, it doesn't really, if he doesn't end up in the NBA, it's not the end of the world for Kai.
Wag lang PBA.
There are ways for
Joke.
there are ways for Kai to make a big impact, not just in Philippine basketball, but in global basketball. So we're really hoping for big things for Kai, wherever that takes him. But before we end, to Gab's point, if any team wants to get Kai Soto just to sell jerseys, let me know. I'll be one of the first people lining up to buy one of his NBA jerseys. So if you want to do that, I'm game for that. So that's it for today's episode. We have to get out of here. The rain is so bad. The internet is so bad. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.